Hello, guys. This is kind of a help video on how to fine tune your violin if you're a beginner like me. It took me about a month to get over this. I kept constantly tuning the instrument almost every day. Um, since I saw several videos on YouTube, and they tell you a lot of things that you shouldn't do, but most of them don't tell you what you can do. Um, it's not easy. You have to be a little bit careful about this, but eventually, if you do it in with caution in mind, there should be no problem. Okay, so this is my violin. It's a quarter size violin. Nothing special about it. It's an intermediate um, range um, uh, violin, and uh, so let's get started. Some of the things that I recommend anyone who is starting with a violin or an instrument to get this. This is a chromatic tuner. It doesn't have batteries right now. I'm not using it because my violin is already fine tuned, and but it's basically a digital tuning uh, electronic device. So it's very easy to use. All you have to do is turn it on, and there will be a screen here that will show you um, just it will measure to say the least the the tune the and it will show you also what what's the tone that you're in. So with the violin, there's some things that you must know beforehand. Not all violins have the fine tuning screws at the end. Some which are in a more expensive price range only have maybe the E on the E string a fine tuning screw. This is for orchestra and things like that. But so if you're a beginner, then you should know this. First of all, when you start tuning your instrument, you have to you get the bridge, which is on another pocket. You get it separately. You have to place it. Try to place it 90 degrees from the front of the violin, and you must be aware that there's these little notches, one in each side, to be able to have a reference to put the bridge. Now the thing is that once you put it, when you only lose you get your violin new. It doesn't have this on. It all the strings are loose. The strings are loose, and you have to start doing everything from scratch. So, uh, this is what happens the first time you do this. Is that you put the bridge, you put all the strings in the little wedges in for each string. For each string is G. You should know that this is G, D, A, and E. So you start putting them, and then you start trying uh, to use the pegs to tune every string. Now, what happens is that if you don't not and if you're not careful, the bridge is going to start tilting from one side, from the center to the bridge to the rest of the neck. So you have to do this uh, little by little. And I recommend that what you do first is you get a little bit towards the end of the bridge of the string. Try to tilt a little bit downwards, and put all the strings. And the first strings that you're going to tune are the E string and the G string. Why? The thing is that if you don't do this, at some point start going like it's like an electrical instrument. I play the bass. So I made the mistake of starting to do this one by one by order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what happened was the bridge kept moving up and down, and or sideways at some point. And it even broke once. I had to replace it. So what you do is you put it very slightly. You put a little pressure on the E string and on the G string with the pegs. You start pressuring and pushing the pegs inside. This happens because the thing is that with new violins, the wood is it's not still expanded, and it's not rough enough to hold the pressure from the strings, which is really it's very significant. So you start doing this with the G string, and you do it sorry, with the E string, right? You start doing this a little by little. Try to adjust the bridge so it doesn't tilt. Once you get a decent uh, um, tension from the first and last, then you can start doing the other two. Okay, but you have so the way what I saw, what I was taught was that you should go on the pegs gently, and if you have the tuning screws, do it with the tuning screws. That was a real nightmare because what happened was that every time I did this, the pegs kept moving, and I kept going onto the far end of the screws until I had no more room to tension the strings to get a right note. So what I decided to do, and that's the only thing that has worked, is to do this apart from using the tuner every time I I tune the instrument, is to use the pegs only. I zero the screws, you unloose the screws, trying to watch out that they don't come out, and start tuning the strings only with the pegs with extreme care. It is very easy to break the E string, especially the E string, which already happened once. I gave it to a friend once. She tried to tune it and she broke it. Um, so what you have to do is hold the peg really tight, with a lot of steady hand. If you do not have strength in your hands, then ask someone to do it for you while you hold the tuner at the same time, right? So there's two people doing it. Uh, if not, if you are brave enough to do it by yourself, then you can start. You start going up, trying to find the note. This is already on E. So what you do is you start pushing the peg at the same time that you're going up. So the peg will go as inward as it will go, and it will eventually hold at that note. So you do this with your first string, and you do this with the last, and then you start doing with the other two. And the advantage of doing this, which is a little bit kind of not for beginners really, at the beginning I did it just like I was told, is that finally it's been over a month, and I only do minor changes on the micro tuning one, which are these, right? They're almost all the way up. I haven't had the need to tighten them too much. And if you do, it's a little smidge. You don't have to go all the way. So just a little bit. And every time do it with the tuner so you don't go out of phase. You don't over stretch the string. You don't under stretch it. Now, most violin players, professional players, they just do it, with their hand, which is okay, you know. What I found out was to use use a digital tuner and play a note, and and that way the tuner is able to pick up the real sound that's gonna come out from the violin with the music box, the resonance box, which is the actual violin itself. So that's basically it. Buy a tuner and, and tune your instrument with the tuner every time you can. Good luck.